Hello everyone, welcome to my weekly show on real estate. Today we're going to discuss about the real estate ecosystem. What I mean by that, during a real estate transaction, there are many different people involved to get to the finish line, if I may. For example, we have brokers, we have lenders, we have appraisal, we have attorneys, construction management team, and then of course we have buyer and seller. First you have to find a property, and that comes with when you have a willing and able seller and a willing and able buyer. And then there is also what they call is the property off market or is the property marketed for sale right now. The difference is if the property is off market, the sellers tend to be more flexible, if you know what I mean, more flexible when it comes to terms, not necessarily price. The seller's still trying to achieve the highest and best price, of course. When it comes to off market, personally prefer off market. Being in this business for the last 25 years, an off market deal is much more attractive for us. When it comes to a market deal, it becomes a situation where it's a bidding war, almost like an auction, not quiet. What does it mean? Say you have about 20 or 30 buyers, and they all want to compete on the same thing. Everybody going to give the same price, what the seller is asking. Everyone going to close on time in terms of when contract, what it talks about the diligence, time for inspection, time for closing. So how can 20 people win the same deal? They don't. What happens is then it becomes a price war, and price starts to go up and up and up. And also the terms. Buyer gonna potentially put non-refundable deposit. Forget about subject to mortgage, subject to inspection. They're gonna ask for non-refundable deposit day one. That's why we always like to do off-market if possible, as opposed to market deal. So let's say a person win the property. Now you have a contract. You want to go and get it going. Now you need to apply for a mortgage. So you have to approach a lender. And approaching a lender, that's also going to be a difficult task because so many lenders out there. Not to confuse lender with a broker. A broker is somebody that's going to find a lender. A lender is a situation where a person goes direct to the lender, therefore saving points and extra costs tapped on by the broker. However, we'll have our brokers because brokers that create value, they are very important for our industry. And this is part of the ecosystem. Brokers, appraisers, attorneys too for that matter, believe it or not, okay? We'll talk about it in a minute. So I suggest always good to go with a broker, mortgage broker, but make sure you know the mortgage broker is knowledgeable enough. It's not the first time in his job. You want to make sure they are seasoned, experienced, not first time on the job, and that's really important because you don't want someone to try it on you as a first timer. You have to choose an attorney to represent you. Following the deadline on the contract is extremely important. If you miss one day, you can lose the contract. So we don't want that. Most real estate contracts that I know of are time of the essence, which means the effective date and the timing on the contract extremely important. We have to follow those dates. Say you do a value add. When you do a value add, you want to make sure you have the right number for the renovation. If you buy a property and you want to get to close it, you want to make sure you have enough fund at closing, escrowed, if I may, so you can use for a rehab for the property. Big mistake buyers do, big mistake. They rely on the cash flow to do the renovation. That's a no-no. We never do that. We have to have enough money in the budget to do the renovation. So it's important to pick a good construction manager to oversee the project. Again, that's part of the ecosystem. And then we need to get the appraisal. When you choose a mortgage broker, make sure that a mortgage broker meet the appraiser on site and knowledgeable enough to bring camps for the area and have the paperwork ready. For example, sold camps in the area, what's active in the market. It's always good for the broker to be prepared to give the information for the appraisal because you want the numbers to come in line with the purchase price. So now you have the mortgage broker, now you're getting approved, and now you want to go for closing, and you want a good attorney to represent you. You want to do clear title. When you talk about title, how about violation? How about open permit? You don't want to close with open permit. You don't want to close with open violation. What's normal in this situation, where you have sometimes there's going to be open permit or open violation, you need to make sure you escrow enough money from the seller at closing that you can take care of it post-closing event. Sometimes sellers do not want to wait and they need to follow the timeline for the closing. Even though it's not necessarily your obligation to close if the seller does not have the clear title due to open violation or open permit, it's very common in the industry to escrow money post-closing, and you can use that money to take care of violation of the necessary stuff needs to get done to get a clear title. So that's extremely important to have. We talked about before, I'll say it again, to have enough money in the budget. And when you go for a construction for the value add, let's say you need new kitchens, new bathrooms, say you need a curb appeal, landscaping, maybe you need new roof. Do not forget to check roof. It's very important because a roof can be very costly. And guess what? Post-closing, that's it. Too late now. So everything is to come together during the inspection. And don't be afraid to look for 3 quotes, not just 1 estimate, 2 estimates, or 3 estimates. We always like to look for at least 3 estimates, anything over $10,000. Obviously, that's going to be over $10,000 if you're talking about a big project. Do rehab for a property. Nature of the real estate, do not do something you're not comfortable with. Meaning, if you don't understand it, don't do it. Understand the value of the real estate. Understand what you're getting involved. Once you sign on the loan, that's it, you're on the hook. So it's really important to have some idea what's coming your way after the closing, because guess what? The hard work begins the day after the closing. The day of the closing, the next day, that's the hard work. And you have to have all machinery in place. For example, the team, the management, the people, the idea. You want to get to the finish line. We get to the finish line by closing the deal. Now, the next step is to get to the finish line by creating value to the property so we can go for a refi or a sale for that matter. All those things come together and everybody is playing a major role from appraiser to brokers to mortgage lenders to the management to the team inside. I always like to tell people this is not a one-man job. It's a team effort. I cannot do it without my team. And it's really important to show appreciation for the team behind you. At times, one of the challenges that I found in buying a property, because people ask me, what is your biggest challenge? Sometimes the biggest challenge can be as little as finding a property because you want to buy something good. Or sometimes the biggest challenge can be where looking for something that the terms are comfortable. For example, if I'm bidding on a property and I want to get that property, I really want to buy it, I'm going to be ready to put some non-refundable deposit, and I don't have a game plan in place. So that can be very difficult. I don't recommend that. I recommend to have a game plan before you put a non-refundable deposit, because once the deposit goes hard, game over. So this is extremely important to have a game plan in place. And we need to have fun with that too. This is not just about working hard is important, but you want to work smart and have fun with it. Talk to you next time. Bye-bye.